Hi everyone, it's Jenny. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. So I've come back on. I did say I would, and I'm going to make a couple of cards. Now, I've prepped them first because I didn't want the video to be too long making two cards. So this is with my Sentimentally Yours kit. So what I did was I just cut all the papers out and tore them up and looked through them and saw what I was going to use. And I had a little go with the stamps just to see what they came out like, and I did some various different bits and pieces just having a little go. And I used the dies made some circles, just some little bits and pieces, cut out some of the with love on with the die cut, did some different flowers, some with pencil, some with colours. I quite liked that one, which I just stamped half and half. I stamped the leaves black and then the flower pink, which came out well. I did a little aeroplane. That one didn't come out very well because I thought I'd go over it in white, and it didn't come out. And cut all my bits and pieces out. So I can put those to the side because I have sorted out, as I say, I have sorted out the cards already. I did also find this, which I got for my birthday from Anne Lane, and I really liked this, and I was going to use one of these, but I thought I will stick to just the kit, but I'm going to come back and use that. So let me show you what I've done. As I say, I have done a lot of the prep. So, because I didn't want it to be majorly long, I got this really nice sort of, I'm hoping you can sort of catch the glimpse of it. It's sort of goldy brown coloured card. And what I've done is I used this beautiful garden paper, which I really liked. And I've cornered everything, cornered the edges, and I'm just going to have that onto there. So what I'm going to do is get all my bits out the way there that I've already prepped, and I can show you what I've done as I go. So actually this is quite thin paper, so I might be better just doing it on the with the sticky tape, if it likes this paper, that is. A bit temperamental, these ones. I've got the little pen, the smaller ones, which seem to be better. Sometimes these want to work and then they don't. Right, there we go. So I'm going on the side angle for this, so I've just cut this. That is about right there, I think. Yeah, is that good? I think so. There. And then what I did as well is I got just a plain, I got my vintage photo because I do like that, and I just got a piece of plain white card, and then I just inked around, and then I've got to take off the backing paper because I wanted a really neat white line, which I hope I'm going to get. I should do. Just try not to use my nails. If I can get that off. There's me thinking I'm going to be quicker because I've prepped it all. Yeah, it has. That's good. There we go. Okay, so that's rubbish. Kept that out of the way. So it's just given me that sort of background. I used the die cut to cut this circle out so that it's got this nice pattern, and I've just gone round the edge with the vintage photo. I also cut out 3 flowers. So I did this one, just stamped it in black on some white cardstock, and then used some of the vintage photo on top, and I have raised it up ready. And then I did cut 2 black ones out, but I heat embossed them with, it looks silver, but it was actually with white embossing powder, but it's come out sort of looks a bit silver. I found a little bow which I'm going to use, and I'm also wanting just to stamp something on the background here. So I did save a couple of bits to do with you. And we've got and I'm quite liking the music, but I also do like the airmail ones. But I think I'm going to do the music ones with the flowers, because I quite like that. So I'm just going to pop that on there. And if I do that around, just do that one around the middle with this vintage photo. Let's see how that comes out, because I could also do, oh, that's all right. I could also do, and I have got a tissue somewhere, there it is there, a bit of tissue to wipe the stamp. And then I really like as well, let's pop that one back in the right place, I like the splodges. So I think I could do that as well. Let's just get a smaller block for that, because I don't need that big one, do I? Let's put that out of the way. So let's just do a few of these. Yeah, like that. Ooh, getting that everywhere. Just going to do one in that corner. And then one just there. There. I like that. Anyway, you're not going to see it too much of it anyway, because I'm going to cover it up, a lot of it. So let's just pop that little splodge back in there. And then get our card back. And then that is going to go about there, I think. So let me just glue that down. Pop that in the middle. I'll just hold that up a minute just so I can get it about in the middle. There we go. Good. And then what I'm thinking is I'm going to have the Just For You about there. Like so. And then my flowers, I'm wanting them to be, I'm thinking one there, and then, oh, one in the middle. But I do want them to be together. I'm hoping I haven't raised them up too much to be able to stick them down, if you know what I mean. So let me just take off the release paper. I did want to give it a little bit of dimension, so, but there was so many possibilities with this. I'm going to have to put a little bit of glue on the end bottom just to get that down. So I'm thinking if I hold it there where I want the stalk, and then the flower will go where it goes. And then I'll do the same with that one. But yeah, there's so many possibilities. I had so many ideas in my head with this set. It's such a beautiful kit. I'll be back on to make some more, but I just thought I'd just start off with two. So I'm wanting the stalks to virtually touch. There we go. Because then that one can just go. Is that going to go over or under? I think I might get it to go under slightly. So let's take that off. I wasn't sure whether I should raise all three of them, but that was the idea I had in my head, so I'm going with it. Just put a bit of glue on the stalk again, and then I'm gonna try and get that one slightly in the middle there, that one there, and then that will sit on there. Put a bit of glue there. Take that off. There we go. And those three together, because then I've got this little bow which I'm just going to glue somewhere there. A minute, let me get my Fabri-Tac out for that. I think, or do I want to cover the stems completely? I needed a very tiny little bow, so I didn't want it to be too overbearing. I think it might be better if I have the stalks showing actually. So I'm just going to pop a little bit on there, and then pop it there. Got a bit on my finger there. Yeah, I like that. Now I did think something else. What did I think? I know. Just some little gemmies. And I've got these. So I'm wondering whether I do small. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do one. Just trying to get it in the right two, and then the tiny little one. Oh, isn't that just typical? And I want that one about there. There we go. Just three. And then for inside, because it's what I've done is I've just cut a piece of white card, just literally to fit in there, and then I've cut, I had a strip left of this paper on the front, so I cut it into two, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue across the top. So let me just, oh, wrong way. Around the right way. Right, let me just put this on my mat, and then I can line it up. Oh, there. And then the other one, better. Maybe it's because it was new and it was only just starting. And then line that up again. Just want to make sure that I get it exactly the same. There we go. Right, I'm just going to put a bit of extra glue on that to make sure that that sticks over. Pop that over there, that piece there, and then I'm just going to glue that into the middle of the card, because I thought that sort of cardstock is really difficult to write on. So, is that the right way? Yes. And if I can just get that right. There. And then you've got a little bit of get a rubber on that in a minute, because that will come off. And that's the first card. So yeah, there we go. How long's that taken me? Ages. 14 minutes. Gosh, see, I'm glad I did the prep work. Right, now we're on to the purple one, because I really loved this paper. That is just beautiful. So again, I've gone for this is a 6x7 card, but I've cornered the edges. Did I corner the back? No, I didn't. Look at that. Didn't corner the back. There we go. And I'm going to have it this way up. So I've got some purple cardstock. I've cornered it. And that is just going to go on the top there like so. So I'm just literally going to stick that down. Make sure that there's a bit on there. Pop that on there. Get get my edges right. There we are. So that's going to be my base. And then I love this paper. So again, I've just cut a piece very smaller than the purple. I've cornered the edges and I'm going to put that straight down onto there. So that's going to go on there. Okay. And then let's get that right. And again, I think that looks lovely. I really love this paper. So that's going on there. I found some, if I want to use these are Love from Lizzie. I got these a while ago. And then I've cut a piece of cardstock in the same purple and just put some cardboard on the back. I've also cut a smaller piece, put some cardboard, and I've gone round it with my little distress. Actually, what I should do is distress this one as well so that they're the same, because it's got to match. So just rough that edge up. Yeah. Right, so that matches. So then what I did was I used let me just bring that back in, the stamp set. I used the splodgy one, that one, I think. No, it was that one on here, just 3 times. And I cut out the die, the With Love. And what I'm thinking is I'm just going to put that on top of the lilac like that. So I'm going to stick that down because I know that's what I'm doing with that. I did do a couple of these because I thought I might stick 2 together, but I'm just going to go with the one on here for now. Right, I'm just going to get that excess off. There we go. And then that, I think that looks lovely. And I've cut out, I just stamped the flower, and I used the die cut and cut that out. And I've just got the one which I'm going to put on here. I've also got some twine, so I've got some lilac twine. I did use this the other day on a card and I really liked it. So I'm going to put some of that round here, and I've got a little lilac bow. That's for the inside, but I don't know whether I'm also going to stamp the butterfly from the die set just around the purple. But once I've stuck this on, I don't know whether I want to put just a couple of strips of this down the edge, which I was thinking. So do you know what? If I was thinking it, shall I just do it? So let me just get a couple of strips. I don't think it's going to be long enough. Oh, that is 2 there. Oh dear. Let's just put that one there a minute. So I need to line it up because I want to make sure it is as straight as I can get it. It's difficult when you're looking from above to see whether you've got it right or not. Now I could be a bit frugal with this and just go a bit lower. There. And then I can cut those little edges off, because actually they will probably do for something else. So let me just snip those 2 bits off. And I know that sounds a bit, you know, frugal, but they're not cheap. So I can always use them for something else. So let's pop them out the way, and then let's just tuck those down over there. Tuck those down over there. And then that, I thought I had something underneath there. that is going to go just on there with the flower. But first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp, and I've just got my ombre. This is my art studio, which I think I got from the Range set, and I am going to do it just like that, and it'll be ombre. So I'm just going to do one light and one dark, because I like the way that that comes out. And then I'm just thinking, how's that going to be there? So I could have one just coming out from behind there, because you're not going to see that bit. There we go. Yeah, that's enough. Let's not go overboard. Okay, so I'm happy that that's what I'm doing. I can't stick that down yet, can I? Because I've got to put, let's get me around the right order. I'm going to put that on there. So that is going to go on there. I'm not raising it up because I've already raised this up with cardboard. So that is just going to go on there. I'll get rid of the excess. I have just made a bit of a, that's fine. And then I've got some glitter. I've got this Pure Glitz in Grape, and I'm thinking I'm going to just put some of that on the flower. I'm just going to mix it up a bit so that it's, oh, why does it do that? I did have my pins out in case I had a situation. I thought, you know what, I want to be organised, not make this video too long. The trouble is, all the best plans. Right, I'm just going to want to put a bit more on here. Why does it do that? I mean, I store them upside down as well. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. If anyone knows, please let me know. Just moving that about a bit. I might have to do it with my finger. Oh, that's better. Right, there we go. Yeah, like that. I'm not sure you can see that. So that's that one. And then I wanted to just do some stickles in the gold ice. No, I didn't want the gold ice. I wanted the, what's the other one called? Hang on. Where's my favourite one gone? Oh, there it is. This one. Crystal. This is my favourite. I've not got that much left in here, actually, to be honest. Now, this one never sticks, and I don't know why. Maybe because I use it all the time. Not sure. It is so beautiful. There. I love that. That's really pretty. And then I've got my bit of ribbon, not ribbon, my bit of thread. So I'm going to have to be careful now because I've got that wet, haven't I? So I've got to be careful. I probably should have done the ribbon first, but do you know what? I didn't. So we'll just be careful. Just take that release paper off if I can. Trouble is it's on cardboard. Come on. There we go. Off you get. Right, I'm just going to stick that onto there like that and hold it. Just make sure I don't get it. Right. Let me just get that bit chopped off. Chop that bit off. Just put a little bit of glue on that for a minute just to make it stay. Turn turn that round. I hopefully have got enough just to do a little knot. I don't want too much because I've got this little bow which I'm going to put on as well. So, but I do want to gather it. If I can get that under. Come on, Jenny. What are you doing? There we go. I'm thinking, if I've got that there, where do I want the bow? Do I want a knot that side and then the bow there? Or do I want the knot in the middle? Do you know what? I'm just going to do the knot in the middle. And then I'll cover it with the bow. I'll do another one just to make sure it stays on. Mind I don't get those stickles. There we go. Right, let's cut that off. Cut that excess off. Like so. And then I'm going to put a good amount of this Fabri-Tac 3-in-1 on there. And I'm going to put that there. Now that will dry, but I'll just leave it to dry. Now I could have done some stamping on the back, but I didn't want it to be too busy because it is quite busy anyway. Right, I'm just, as I say, I've already put cardboard on the back, so I'm just going to give that a good old glue up to make sure that stays in place. And I can't really press it down any more than that because the stickles are still wet. There we go. And then we've got our With Love. I don't want to cover up the tower. Maybe thinking down there. I'm hoping that's where you lot would put it. That's where my eye's telling me to put it. I maybe should have stamped black on. Looking at it now, I should have done that the same, I think. Not sure what you think, because I think that looks a bit plain. But do you know what? I reckon I could get away with doing it if I'm careful. This is where the point where you say, Jenny, no, don't do it. Don't. You're going to mess it up. Do you know what? If I do, can make it again. Be brave. Yep, I think that looks better. And I need just a piece of cardboard, something. And then I've one down the bottom. I think we've got to have something down the bottom so it looks a bit too uniformed. Chuck that under there. I'm going to find that difficult, aren't I? The stamp's not in the right place. I need the stamp right at the edge. And I've got it all over my fingers. That's fine. And you know what? I just need one more because I'm thinking that that's too much of a... Oh, you can just keep going, can't you? Right, stop. Jenny, stop. I think that looks much nicer though, now that it matches that. And then just for the inside, all I've got, because it's plain, Just going to hold it up like that so that it doesn't move too much because of the stickles. I just cut a slither of the same paper that was on the front out to go down the edge because I just think that that looks nice. And we're going to go for a bit of this, if it will play ball. Yeah. Got to have it at the right angle, I think, is what it is. There we go. And then, yeah, that's just going to go down the edge. Just like that. And there we go. Let's get rid of all my mess. I'll clear that up myself in a minute. And I will just clear this up and get a clean area. And there. So we've got that one there, which I'm really liking. I think that looks lovely. And that's got the piece inside. And then the other one, which I made. Ah, there it is. And then I did the Just For You with the flowers. And then the same inside. So I hope you like those. Please do give me a like if you do, and pop a comment on. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please think about it. It's free. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I've certainly enjoyed making them. So take care, everyone, and see you soon. Bye bye.